day, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful. This is what people move to sunny Southern California for.
How long have you been coming down here?
Oh, man. What, 30, 40 years?
At least.
At least, since high school.
Am I dating ourselves? Maybe I should.
It's okay. Who cares, I've lived this long, proud of it. Glory, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus,
One thing I remember about the beach, the pier, I remember being 7 years old, coming to this beach and digging for clams.
Clams?
Yeah. Some friends of the family taught me. No, you stick your toe in the sand.
Big toe in the water, right?
And you stick your toe in the sand, you dig with your toe, and you get clams. And then we'd have a clam bake at home. It was unbelievable. Right here. That pier. I lost a guitar in that bathroom over there, drunk.
Oh, okay. Alcohol involved.
Okay, man, we were drinking hilarious. I was like 17, and we got really drunk. A couple kids, about 7 of us came down to the beach. I got
hammered.
I just went to the bathroom with the guitar. It wasn't even my guitar. It's like the third guitar I lost from Dean, right, my buddy. His guitar I lost. That's the third guitar I lost. He got pissed. He's like, dude. Anyway.
Speaking of guitars and lost, remember that box, the kind of like Beatle guitar?
The one I destroyed?
Yeah, absolutely. I found that in a pawn shop, and it was just like, hey, this is the beginning of my collection.
I'm sorry.
Gave it to you. Hey, well, dude, hey, that's how it happens.
So it was a great guitar. Yeah. Had a funny old diamond shape on it.
Yeah, which was great. It was I just loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too. But Dean got in a fight, and he tripped over my cord and yanked it straight out of my. I was like playing, I was in Chinatown. This fight, kids.
Yeah.
And they tripped over my wire, and because I was leaving my chorus box, and the guitar went flying off me, and just. Anyway.
Yeah, another fond memory.
I went to Ireland shortly thereafter.
You didn't have to go that far. Mexico was just 2 hours away. You know what I mean?
So, how long we know each other?
You were 17, and I was somewhere in the 20s, low 20s.
I love our history, bro.
Yeah, it goes way back. I look back on it now in retrospect and really cherish those days and times.
And I'm so happy and thankful that you and I are still, because you and I were like that back then, and you were like a mentor to me because my parents were living in Ireland. I was living at Dean's house down the road from a music studio where your band Last Rites was rehearsing, and and I latched onto you guys, and you guys, just you, Rod, Don, all of you guys were just exactly what I needed. You kept me on the straight and narrow, really, and obviously
years later,
I'm still here. Bro.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me,
Yeah, bad penny roach, gum under the shoe, yeah, all that good stuff.
So, we, as young kids do, we messed around and, dabble a little, smoking weed, drinking beer, playing rock and roll.
Of course, yeah. That's what you do in California.
My mother was a Pentecost born-again Christian, and from my perspective back then, she'd really gone off the deep end, with it. There was fire and brimstone. And,
my favorite.
And it was all about you repent or you're going to hell.
Repent or you're going to go to hell.
It was a trip, and it really kind of made me kind of get away from them. But they went to Ireland, and I stayed in L.A., right? And then, we were doing our thing for a few years before I eventually went to Ireland as well. And I remember while I was away, Rod sent me a text, or not a text, he called, we spoke to him, and the Last Rites had broken up. And it's, because Tony decided to follow God. He decided to change his ways, become born again, as the term went. And my first instinct was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Really? Oh God, there goes the fun. I was thinking, even though I was in Ireland. But I came back, I hooked up with you, and you were one thing I say about you and your faith, and which I want to get into with you. You evolved. You've evolved. I've watched your faith evolve over the years.
Right.
And you did it, and you evolved through education. You studied. You didn't follow one doctrine, one dogma. You followed the Judaism, and you followed Muslim, and not practiced it, but studied it, and Christianity, and Jesus Christ, and God. And you've educated yourself. That you've come, in my opinion, to a very, very solid ground about
Yeah, in the beginning. And, you know, the rest is history. You know, you don't even have to go into all of that, you know.
Yeah. There'll be some footage later where we are right now. It's gorgeous. California coastline going straight all the way up to Malibu up there.
Yeah,
The sun's
Malibu,
going to set.
yep.
Santa Monica Pier right there. But, so, let's talk about the beginning.
Let's talk about the beginning. In the beginning, there was, well, once upon a time when I was coming up, I was raised in a Christian home. Back then, you didn't have to explain that because everybody was going to a church, a synagogue, or Catholic, something or another. Somebody was going somewhere on either Saturday or Sunday, you know, to get guidance from a higher power, as they said. So I really didn't have much of a choice. My grandmother was like one of the founding fathers of the little church we went to. My mom was there, so I was in church even before I was born. So it was kind of ingrained in me. It's in my DNA, as it were. So as time goes on, I got into all the things like you mentioned earlier about getting into, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, football. There was no guidelines. My father wasn't around much. That's not an accusation against him, but his father wasn't around now much. So it's just like, you know, he was only doing what he was shown. So I had to kind of find my own way. So while I was in church, I was noticing that I learned to read, and it said certain things, and I was noticing things going contrary to those teachings. And as a young inquisitive kid, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, something ain't quite right. Either the creator of heaven and earth is right, or these people that are doing all the things that are going contrary to his teachings are wrong. So I decided to go with the creator. You know, you can't go wrong. One more time, look around. Sun, the moon, and the stars, the ocean. It's a beautiful thing. Man did not make this. If man made this, I would follow man. But because man didn't, I'm following the creator. So skip ahead. All of those things, I had kind of got drawn back by the dark side with the sex and the drugs and the rock and roll, and I found myself at this epiphany where it was just like, hey, it's not working. I need some help. So, cutting the story even shorter, found a church that was talking about the things that I was talking about. Went there and started going down the path. You know, fortunately I could read, so I didn't get caught up in the church or the pastor or any individual, but it was a matter of looking in the book and seeing how it connected with where I was. And here we are today.
And they all added up to you.
Yeah, it all added up to me.
You know, I came about it a lot later. It's funny as you get older, you're more reflective on, things that's going on, and so you look at the way society is now. Like I lived, as you know, I lived in Ireland for a long time, and that was like the head of state was the Pope for many years. I don't think that's the case now. It was a very Catholic country, but there were a lot of hypocrisies, contradictions in Ireland, and there was a lot of contradictions in just, you look for the intangible element. It's like the core thing that I finally came to realize after many, many years, because I was conflicted about the word and the reality. And what I finally eventually came up to is that it requires faith. You have to make a decision. I had to make a decision. And, you look at the lifestyles of people and look at how their lives go down. There might be levels of success, extreme success, or no success, but their life without faith and without God tends to be this roller coaster of emotions and issues that are going on in their lives, where people with faith, and my family are a big part of that, are very consistent and very grounded. There aren't big highs and there aren't big lows.
Right.
And I really admired the fact that I've discovered that people with faith and people that have come to the conclusion that there is a God, and we all have to figure it out for ourselves why. I'm just thankful that I figured out that there is one.
So how did you come to that faith, knowing that there is a God? What was the event or chain of events that brought you there?
Well, I suppose it was just I was at a very low ebb in my life. about 5-6 years ago, and I was really just brokenhearted, destitute, and broke. And you were like the only person in my life, and I had family in San Diego that cared about me.
Lovely too, I might add.
Yeah, and
Lovely people.
my aunt always used to say to me, she says, the only purpose on this life is to get up there. And any problems that she had, my aunt, I gave to God. And that's how she's lived her life since she was 17 years old. So, given where I was personally, I had nothing to lose by making an honest effort. And something happens that had potential to be very disastrous in my life. Because I had no room to move, you know. I was stuck.
Funny how that happens.
And I didn't even really pray, and I'm not much of a prayer, but I just said, you know, I'm going to give this to God, and I'm going to let Him deal with it, and I'm not going to worry about it. And it was a very powerful moment that I decided, you know, that I made that decision, because I was a great fretter, and I was a great worrier, and I decided, you know what, I'm not worried about anything. I'm not going to worry. I'm going to let God deal with this.
Let go, let God.
And boy, did God take care of it.
Oh yeah.
It got taken care of. I didn't do anything. And that, to me, then I met some people. I played a hard rock band for a very short minute with a couple of born-again Christians for one another turn. And they were very worried about me because they felt I didn't have their faith. And I said, well, I'm kind of getting there, but I'd like to play with you. We played for a while. And, you know, things started happening. But I think it's important. I mean, a lot of people say, you know, there's two things that you have to make a decision in your life. You just have to decide for yourself what it is. And, you know, no one's going to judge you. You have to decide. And if you decide that there is no God, well, then you decided. And you have to live that.
You got to live that life.
You got to live that reality.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people say, well, where's the proof? And I got an answer for you. Where is the proof that there isn't? There isn't.
Yeah.
And what if you do this your whole life and it doesn't happen?
Right.
Well,
Get to the end of it. Then what?
I wasted my life.
Right.
But if you're wrong, you've wasted your eternity, which is daunting when you think about that. So, you know, there's a spirit amongst all of us. There is there's a vibe that sort of, there's a hum on the universe. And and by and large, everybody sort of floats on this wave of energy. And then there's evil elements within that energy.
Definitely evil.
And then they were very enlightened, and I just, you know, even if you just read the Bible, or even if you just decide in God and in Jesus Christ, like reading the story of Jesus Christ, the bravest man in the world, if you ask me, the kindest man in the world, and he was no coward. This guy was very brave, and, you know, there's no denying the fact that this man lived and this man died for his beliefs.
Right.
He did it willingly to show all of us that don't fret. I mean, that's a real event. You know, people want to debate whether or not he came back from the dead 3 days later, but, you know, if you take that outside, which is a very important part, the man lived and the story has been told and it's true. So the power of that man and the standard he set for all of us to live. I just started reading more and more about Jesus and understanding, you know, what he was trying to do for humanity, because he saw where it was going. The writing was on the wall, you know, and I don't need to tell you, because you know, right?
Yeah.
You know the story.
I know the story.
But every day I get better with it, you know. I still have a lot of battles, little demons inside of me that want to go to the dark side. But, you know, by and large, I'm not a drinker, don't do drugs. I live a pretty clean lifestyle. You know, I like to eat a lot, working on that. But, man, I'm like, ever since, you know, I made the decision.
Made that decision. Well, that's the guiding light, the path. You know, it's often been said that we are spirits in a physical body on a journey on the face of the earth. And we're here to learn what the Creator wants to give and do for us. One of the key things religions and organizations have a tendency to turn me off and bore me, because they're not seeking a relationship with the creator of heaven and earth. They just want to set up a system by which they can grab people to get in and support them and
get paid.
It's a rah-rah session, as opposed to, hey, let's get out there, apply the lessons that Jesus, also known as Yeshua, brought to us. We're supposed to be taking that to people, not so much from like a group of people going out, but when you're at work, when you're on the bus, when that guy cuts you off or the girl cuts you off, you think, hey, wait a minute, let's not blow a gasket here.
No, you're right. Those stupid things like that, that's the way evil works, really, because one of those incidents, one of those person cutting you off will turn into a swearing session that turns into getting you out of the car, that turns into you taking a swing, that turns into them taking a shot, and things blow up like that all the time. And I think having faith and understanding what's important helps you battle those things.
Yeah, it does. I've been involved in some of those. Get out of the car. Hey,
you have?
Yeah.
No.
So it's a guideline. It's a path, and it's a relationship. Like our relationship goes for years and years and years. The same thing should be happening with the Creator, Jesus, and all those other things that are taught in the Scriptures. It's just up to you to get in there and find out for yourself. Again, like you said earlier, if you're happy with just the status quo, great, good for you. Me, I want more. That's why, I'll give you one incident. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was a Jehovah's Witness, and she kept trying to debate me, but she couldn't because I knew what was in the book. So she brought her elder, and it was under the guise of a dinner. And as soon as we sat down, ding ding,
she nuked you.
Yeah, it was okay. And he was very high up in his chain, and I was just a guy that was just reading. And what wound up happening was I basically took him apart. I took him to task. I just say, hey man, look, this is how I believe, and what you do is what you do. What I do is what I do. When do we eat? I came to eat. I didn't came to debate.
Stay close to me, brother.
I can do that.
So, for our music project, just for a project, Manifest Calling.
Manifest Calling.
And so I don't want to preach to nobody.
No.
And,
sharing information.
Yeah, we're sharing information. We're sharing our experiences. And I think that everybody has responsibility to share and enlighten people. If they disagree with you, it's fine. It's not a declaration of war.
Right.
And we're not going to judge anybody if they disagree with us. It's like, okay, man, I'm the argumentative one in this group. As you know.
I kind of pick my battles.
Yeah, you pick your battles.
Kind of.
But having said that, I have a lot of compassion, and I care about people. I care about people a lot, and I wish that they get to experience what I'm experiencing right now. And I don't go to church. I read passages in the Bible occasionally. I'm always mindful of God and Jesus Christ in my mind, and I always keep that at the fore. And every spare moment that I have when I'm not doing something where I've got a bit of blank space, that's where my mind goes. It goes to that. Mm-hmm. And look, I can be taken tomorrow. I can be taken now, and I understand that. That's them are the rules, and that's the way it goes. And so I'm gonna live every moment of my day, doing right and doing good, and be as kind and as thoughtful as I possibly can, and be unafraid to let everybody know that I believe that there's a God and that there is a Jesus Christ, and you need to get with them. And you need to get with it. You need to search it out and figure it out for yourself. There's a lot of evil in the world, but it's got nothing to do with God, and people tend to blame God for the evil.
Right.
There's two sides of the story. God's going to look after you, but evil, if you turn your back on God, then it's you and evil. And evil may decide to play with you. He may decide to use you. He may decide to ignore you because he knows where you're going, so he doesn't have to. He kind of works on people that may be leaving the flock. But you know, when you choose to ignore God, ignore spirituality, ignore your faith, then it's you in the elements. And I just think that that's fraught with danger, and you're taking a big chance. And once we leave this planet, there's a lifetime, there's an eternity of great things after this. This vessel that we reside in right now will be discarded. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And the spirit lives on. And the spirit can live on for eternity. So that's who we are spiritually, and we're going to play some rock and roll. We're going to play some rock and roll, do a bit of traveling. We got more music coming out.
Air guitar.
And anybody that we can touch, we're going to.
He tried to coax me into getting out.
You got anything to say?
Actually, it's pretty much all been said. You know, you're very eloquent, my friend. I'll sum it up by saying this. Mine, and I can hopefully speak for you, that it's about relationship, our personal relationship, you know, one-on-one, individually, collectively, and then the relationship with the creator of heaven and earth. As long as we got that, I know we're going to go far. You know, again, like I've said, I kind of just threw it out there as a bit of whimsy, you know, divine destiny. But the more we get into it, the more I realize it is actually
divine destiny.
Yeah, wow, what
really
a concept. You know?
So you're a prophet.
Yeah, I'm a prophet, and I claim the title proudly. However, I do make mistakes, but that's part of the learning process while we're still here on the face of the earth.
You know, one of the greatest shames for me on this earth is there are not very many people that know how great you are. And but they're gonna.
The creator's keeping track. That's all that matters to me. I'll be willing to share anything I got with anybody. I mean, you've seen it.
I've seen you.
Yeah, people on the street, bums, homeless, prostitutes.
Real quick, New Year's Eve, I
remember
New Year's Eve, 1987, 88, in Santa Monica, down on Main Street.
not too far from
outside
here.
the New World Restaurant. We're gonna go party, supposedly. And this drunk guy comes out of a restaurant, and he's stumbling, and you go, "Whoa, what's up?" And you grab him, and you disappear, and you're gone 4 fucking hours, man. Like 4 hours, and he comes back, and you're like, "Hey, what's up?
What's up? Where's the party?
Dude, where have you been? Like, I've been standing here. Yeah, I go help this guy. You know, I was like, you had to go help this guy? That's just how you roll, though. You know?
Yeah, that's just how I roll.
I'm sure that guy was happy. All right,
bro.
we're gonna take some shots of the coast now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna be talking about politics, rock and roll, and all sorts of things. You know, straight no chaser, meaning straight no chaser. I'm gonna tell you where it is right here.
From the heart, baby.
All right.
All
God
right.
bless you.
Toodle pip.
Peace.
touch the sky.